From the sci-fi originals to kid-friendly fare, hard-hitting dramas to superlative horror, 2019 is having a bumper crop of excellent flicks for film lovers. But the biggest surprise for these film lovers is the chain of action movies coming in next year. So, if you're a film geek, then you can't afford to miss the following list of action movies coming in 2019. John Wick 3. Remember the dog lover, legendary hitman John Wick? He is coming in next year. It's safe to say that the 2 chapters of John Wick are up there with the best action films we've seen in recent decades. The 3rd installment of the insanely violent and fun action franchise is filming right now. Here's everything we know so far. You never run out of targets when you are the world's greatest assassin. So in this chapter, our hitman is fighting for survival as he attempts to flee New York City. Details are scarce regarding the plot of John Wick Chapter 3, but the second film in the franchise ended on a cliffhanger of sorts, with John Wick on the run from the global guild of assassins he once belonged to, with a massive bounty on his head. So the film could send John Wick to Tokyo or Jerusalem, something Reeves himself hinted at, or possibly make his way to the United Kingdom or Asia. While doing interviews for the second film, Stahelski indicated a desire to explore John's origin story a bit deeper in the 3rd film, as well as the hierarchy of the criminal underworld that was teased in John Wick Chapter 2. So we can expect that the movie will tell about the concealed past of John Wick. The movie is coming on the 16th of May 2019, and one thing is sure, with all this hype, one cannot miss this movie.
Or do you want to just give me a gun?
Bond 25. The next film in our list is of Bond, James Bond, with the working title of Bond 25. Daniel Craig has announced that he is going to play the secret agent for the 25th film in the franchise, written by regular Bond screenwriters Robert Wade and Neil Purvis. In this film, we may see 007 get married and settle down, according to a source close to the production. The anonymous sources claim that Bond quits the Secret Service and he's in love and gets married. If so, this would be the first time that Bond has been married on screen since 1969. But the Bond's wedded bliss won't last long this time either. Sad. But The Mirror gives us a different plot by telling us that the movie opens with a police raid on a French movie studio that goes seriously awry. From there, the adventure leads Bond to Croatia, where bosses have been spotted scouting for locations. Bond scriptwriters feel it could be the perfect follow-up to Spectre. But one thing is sure, that the movie will be fully loaded with thrill and action. The 25th Bond film is set to be released in cinemas on November 8, 2019. Godzilla, King of Monsters. In our next movie, humanity's existence hangs in the balance when the mighty Godzilla collides with Mothra, Rodan, and the 3-headed monster, King Ghidorah. Yes, we're talking about Godzilla, King of Monsters, the sequel to 2014's Godzilla by Legendary Pictures and Warner Bros. The new story follows the heroic efforts of the cryptozoological agency Monarch, as its members face off against a battery of demigod-sized monsters, including the mighty Godzilla, who collides with Mothra, Rodan, and his ultimate nemesis, the 3-headed King Ghidorah. When these ancient superspecies, thought to be mere myths, rise again, they all vie for supremacy, leaving humanity's very existence hanging in the balance. It will be the first American Godzilla film to feature monsters from the original Japanese Toho films besides Godzilla himself, the monsters in question being Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah, and will be slated for a March 22, 2019 release.
We awakened something.
Top Gun Maverick. The long-awaited sequel to the Tom Cruise classic Top Gun has finally landed an official release date, July 19, 2019. After 7 years of rumors and delays, Paramount announced that Top Gun Maverick is in the works with Joseph Kosinski, who helmed Cruise-starring sci-fi flick Oblivion, the frontrunner to direct with Cruise on board to reprise the role of pilot Pete Maverick Mitchell. The movie is not out until July 12, 2019, but that doesn't mean we can't start wondering about the characters and the plot involved for the highly anticipated sequel. Tom Cruise is rumored to play an instructor at Fightertown, USA in Miramar, and he attempts to bridle a hotshot pilot. The cocky pilot is expected to be Wrigley Riot Bradshaw, who just so happens to be Nick Goose Bradshaw's son. Rumors of a Top Gun sequel began circulating in 2010, but the death of the original film's director Tony Scott in 2012 delayed the project. However, Cruise promised that the film was definitely happening. This new film will be set in the world of drone technology and fifth-generation fighters, and explore the end of an era of dogfighting. Pretty cool. It's Top Gun Maverick. Bad Boys 4. The streets have been clamoring for a Bad Boys sequel for a decade now, ever since Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, and Michael Bay colluded to make one of the best action movies of all time. As Michael Bay moved on to robots, Will Smith fell back, and Martin fell off. It began to seem like a pipe dream. But now it is the moment it's truly happening. Considering the fact that it has literally been 15 years since sequel is released. The Bad Boys series is giving us a sort of hope for the sequel in next year. So there is a bright hope that the sequel will be released in next year on May 24th, 2019, starring the legends Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. And one thing is sure, there will be action. Action and action on the board when the sequel will be released. World War Z 2. They said it couldn't be done. Folks thought that World War Z could never be adapted into a Hollywood motion picture that captured the thrills and scares of Max Brooks' best-selling novel of post-apocalyptic remembrance. Depending on who you are, that claim could be debated. However, what can't be debated is the fact that the 2013 film was an absolute hit. So, naturally, a sequel was put into development, and World War Z 2 went from pipe dream to ongoing concern in that moment. And the good news is, sequel is coming in 2019. Regarding plot of this movie, we got something for you. Not long after the events of the first film, people live in the safe zone from zombies. Thanks to the camouflage vaccine, humans are mostly safe. The vaccine only works for 36 hours. Worldwide armies have not been able to rout the zombie hordes. Even worse, political tension has gripped the planet. Different countries' military factions are threatening to fight each other. Jerry Lane, Brad Pitt, and his family are still in Halifax, Canada. In Geneva, Dr. Morel, a brilliant virologist, has created something called E29, an airborne virus that will make zombies attack each other. A planet-wide offensive against the zombies has been planned using E29. Laboratories everywhere are waiting for the genetic sequence to create it. Dr. Morel disappears before sending the last information necessary to finish it. Jerry travels the world to find her and figure out what happened. Geneva, Singapore, and Bangladesh. Something even worse has happened. Zombies are now immune to the camouflage. Humanity has nowhere to hide, and it's a race against time to find Dr. Morel. So, start the countdown. Fast and Furious 9. Who does not know about the American franchise based on a series of action films that is largely concerned with illegal street racing, heists, and espionage, and includes material in various other media that depicts characters and situations from the films? Yes, we are talking about The Fast and the Furious, or Fast and Furious. The Fast and the Furious is pumping the brakes, and Fast and Furious 9 is on its way. Regarding cast in Fast and Furious 9, there hasn't been any confirmation as to who is returning to the franchise, but it's safe to assume that at least Vin Diesel, Dom, Michelle Rodriguez, Letty, and Chris Ludacris Bridges, Tej will be back. After missing out on the last film, Jordana Brewster has also been confirmed to return as Dom's sister Mia. It'll be interesting to see how she's weaved back into the storyline, since Mia was last seen retiring for a quieter life with Brian, played by the late Paul Walker. Dwayne Johnson's future is up in the air, following his on-set spat with Diesel during the filming of the last movie. Tyrese Gibson, Roman, is a strong possibility, though Gibson did previously vow never to work with Johnson again after the pair began feuding. There's also the chance of returns for Jason Statham, Deckard, Helen Mirren, Magdalene, Luke Evans, Owen, Lucas Black, Sean, Natalie Emmanuel, Ramsey, Kurt Russell, Mr. Nobody, and Scott Eastwood, Eric. Regarding release date, according to Variety, Universal Pictures has bumped the release of the 9th installment of the series back from April 2019 to April 2020, but we can still hope that it will be in 2019. That's all for today. Subscribe and stay tuned to Rapid Trailer for all movie-related content.